Good evening, y'all. Demon Phil Comics in More, New Jersey. Yep, I'm dressed and ready for World Goth Day tomorrow. So since we're hyping this up, I figured I'd get into character a little bit on this one. So hit that share button. Let's get this baby rolling on here. Let me know if you can see and hear me in the comments over here on the side. We're going to have some fun with this tonight. Hey, we've had fun with everything else I've done so far. Why stop the tempo now? So as you come in and you can see and hear me, let me know in the comments, please, and definitely share this out. We already know who I'm going to have on as a guest tonight. If you don't know, I got Tom Hutchison on here because we got some goth covers that we're going to be showing off and getting everybody ready to go ahead and get a hold of, and talking about World Goth Day and what all events are going to be happening this weekend throughout all of this. So if you hear, sound off on the side over here. Let's get this thing shared out, and we're going to have some fun. So I hope y'all had a great day, had a very productive day, a very safe day. And we're going ahead and getting things moved around on my side as well. I believe Tom is actually starting to share his out as well. All right, let's go ahead and get this thing started. Now, I can only do this for so long before I start going legally blind, so I'm going to go ahead and remove these glasses, put on my other glasses, so I'm going to be like partial goth right now. We'll go ahead and go with that. I just look like I'm cold now. All right, so thank y'all for being here. So let me go ahead and start off by thanking my sponsors, because we're going to get started in this every time. So Demon Phil Comics in More, New Jersey. And the sponsors are Sub-Zero Mission. Everybody knows that's a big one that I go with all the time, that I always talk about. It actually saves lives. So if you don't know enough about that one, look on my page, find out about it. If you want to know more information about there and how you can help, send me a message. Please send me a message and I will point you in the right direction on that. We have Totally Rad Comics. Totally Rad Life of Violet, I believe, is going to launch the middle of next month on Kickstarter. So we'll be ready for that one to come out. We have Codex Entertainment. They'll be doing Lily the Demoness #4. We'll be launching on Kickstarter, I believe, in July. We have 183 Degree Studio, which, if you don't know that one, that is Kara Nicole and Alpha Trujillo. And right now they have Confessions of a Cosplay Diva on Kickstarter. Definitely go look that one up. And finally, we have on the list, we have Third Empire banner, which has Mojo Rising, is going to be coming out June the 2nd on Kickstarter. Get your mojo on. Oh, it's going to be a party. All right, and speaking of parties, tonight I have got Tom Hutchison in the house, and we're going to be talking about some World Goth Day, some stuff he's got going on and whatnot, and having some fun with this, and just building this up until midnight. So I am on here for 2 hours with him. We're going to have some fun, get some information out here, and yeah, we'll see what goes from there. Justin, Perry, thank y'all for being here, and thank you for going ahead and sounding off in here and let me know you can see and hear me. With that being said, let's go ahead and bring him up. Here is Tom Hutchison.
Boom.
What's up, Tom?
I think we are ready to do this. We have devices everywhere. We have sharing happening. We are good to go.
Absolutely. All right, so we got World Goth Day starts tomorrow. In case anybody is not familiar with what that is exactly, well, there is a pretty much a holiday for every single day of the year. A lot of people aren't aware that there are. So Tom, if you want to go ahead and talk about why you chose this one to go ahead and go with what we're doing.
Well, it was I'm not sure how it happened. I'll be honest with you. As with most things that are sort of outside the box, somewhere as I was roaming around doing something, as Wish was showing me random ads on Facebook, I have no idea where the thought process came from exactly. But at some point, the goth concept lodged itself in my head earlier this year, and I started trying to figure out, maybe I'll do like a goth variant or something for a Kickstarter, just to kind of have some fun with it. And then I was like, yeah, that might be cool. What if this character was a goth? What if this character was goth? And then it just kept steamrolling into this thought process of, I wonder if there's a goth day. And I just literally typed in goth day, and May 22nd came up. It was in a window of time where I was like, we can make that happen. And off to the races, basically. I shot Steph Wilson a message first. He was the first person I contacted because I knew he could do it quickly, and I wanted to kind of get an aesthetic about it. And I think that's how it was with Scheherazade, because he did Scheherazade. I think I was trying to do just a fun goth Scheherazade cover, and then it grew into that. And he did this piece that was amazing, and we've debuted them all on social media everywhere. What's up, Wendy? And then I started thinking about who I wanted to do these covers, and I realized that we have this Kickstarter. Princesses versus Zombies was happening, and I was like, oh my god, it's just too much. It's too much. And I couldn't ask all of these guys to just keep doing stuff, so I actually started hunting new artists. And so there are actually 3 first-time Big Dog Ink artists on these covers, and that alone was super exciting because I love finding new people and seeing what they can do with these characters. So Steph Wilson did the first cover. Then I went to David Fott, who was also part of Princesses versus Zombies. Then I found he goes by the name MR Gunn. I don't know what the MR stands for, but he goes by MR Gunn on Facebook, Art of MR Gunn. And then Justin Hunt, who has done some stuff for Coffin Comics and so on. And we were, like I said, we were off to the races. And the other 2 that we did, I'm losing what we did. The other 2 that we did were Ursa Minor with Nia Rufino, and I'm missing one. Critter, Oz, Penny, Ursa, Scheherazade. Critter, Oz, Penny, Ursa, Scheherazade. There's only 5, but I said that there were 3 new artists. Is it 4 new artists? No, because it's Steph. Yeah, it's just those 3. Okay, I'm losing my mind. It's been a jumble. It's been a jumble of a last 2 weeks with the Kickstarter ending last week. We had a huge Doghouse live show on the CBSN last night. I'm not recuperated. I'm not ready for anything at all. But I will tell you that the website is ready. There is no Kickstarter for this, guys. There's no Kickstarter. It's just we have product. It is a pre-order, and we'll go through the reasons for that because. So give us a week to 10 days to get this all done and to you. It is a pre-order. But we have all the covers done, and basically files will go to print on Monday when Goth Weekend is over. And I'm going to stop talking now because I have nothing coherent is coming from me right now.
Oh, you're good. We got plenty of time. We've only got 10 minutes into this thing. We got plenty of time to go.
I'm just kind of like, and it's like, let's slow it down. Let's slow it down.
Now, first off, we've gotten a few more people in here, and I know you said hello to Wendy is in here. Scott's in here. Hey, what's going on, Scott? Doug asked, where's the white mask? I thought I was pale enough. I figured that would just go ahead and do it. I don't need a white mask for this. I mean,
I got a sock over here, but I'm not really, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
And then we've got, of course, you had mentioned about David Fott, and he is in here. Thank you, David, for being here.
Ren.
Yep.
This is about as goth as Star Wars gets right here. So a little bit of Kylo Ren juice.
Exactly.
That's for you, Doug.
he posted it up here, so he was waiting for it.
Yep.
That's like your battle cry that you have to do every time you go up on screen. You have to drink from the blood of your enemies from your Kylo Ren cup.
That's right. Kylo comes with me almost every show that I do. And, so far, so good.
Exactly. Now, you had mentioned about having the new artist and everything on here, and I can attest because being a part of this great thing that I'm going to go ahead and put up here very quickly because I know Tom's not going to mind, the Patreon link. So in being a part of the Patreon place in here, it has been amazing because I've gotten to see who these artists are and what they're offering up well before they were being put on Facebook this time. Normally it was like, a day or two type thing. This time it was some time in between, which was pretty nice because I had to keep my mouth shut over here on the side, be like, I know something now. So it is well worth everyone getting on the Patreon. And if you can go ahead and talk about your Patreon a little bit and let them know what all you offer on there.
Yeah, Patreon's been fun. I mean, it's still kind of a work in progress. I really am kind of trying to figure out what we can show legitimately, because we don't want to just be dumping spoilers everywhere. But from an art standpoint, it's spoilery, but it's not story spoilery and so on. So, we've been showing progression elements, layouts and design stuff through art, through colors, so you guys can kind of watch the process happen on some of this stuff. We've been doing it really just since January. So it's a very new thing. There's just two levels. There's a $5 level, which gets you basically everything. So if you want to jump in and join the group, we have 21 people right now. $5 gets you everything that's posted. The $10 level gets you a little bit extra and allows you to actually partake in upcoming things like basically voting, some polls that we're going to do. So we're going to be doing one pretty soon once I have time, because time, good Lord. We have we're going to have our first poll coming up. We have brand new, the other thing that we're doing is I have people messaging me on Facebook. We're also adding exclusive content now, we're aiming for July. That's the goal. It might be like late July. It might end up being August just because there's a lot going on, but we're aiming for July to bring exclusive content to Patreon. So story content. So if you want stuff that no one else is going to get, it's not going anywhere else. It's not going on Facebook. It's not going on Instagram. It's not going anywhere. It's a new story. It's a new character. It is a new way of telling a story. And we'll be showing all the Patreon folks that very soon. But in addition, you're going to get to start voting on some of the things that go into that property. And as we go forward, you'll start being able to vote on things that we do on other properties as well. If we're doing something with Critter or, Scheherazade or whatever, we can say, hey, do you want to see Scheherazade go to space? Do you want to see Scheherazade, go to the Civil War? Like what would you want to see? And we'll allow our Patreon folks to kind of help guide some of the things that we want to do. It'll be fun. And every 6 months, Patreon subscribers will get a free Patreon variant cover. Just on us. It's just, hey, thanks for joining us for 6 months. And you'll get one of those, which means we're actually coming up on it pretty soon. June will be our first 6 months. So, in July, we'll look back and say, okay, who's been with us for 6 months, and they get a free cover, and, we move on from there.
And Justin said, yes, Senders of Space Force.
Space. Yeah, we actually have Space is technically our next arc for Scheherazade. It's already designed. It's already happening. It's already being written. But we did the side quests book for Kickstarter in January because we knew it would be easy to just do one issue, get it in the can, get it done, sort of reintroduce everybody to Scheherazade and remind them who she is, what she does, how it all works. And then we'll come back around and actually do that larger arc that's already been planned. It's been planned for years. We already know exactly what it is, how it works, where it goes. We just have to now find a spot for it on the release schedule, because next year, I don't think there's going to be a spot, because we're going to be focusing a lot on Oz next year, as well as bringing Penny for Your Soul back. But again, there's a lot of moving pieces that we have right now with Big Dog Inc., with Kickstarters, with Indiegogo potentially being used, so on and so on and so on. So Scheherazade will come back. There is a plan. It does deal with space, and far more than just that. It's a really cool story. It's a really cool design thing, how we overlap some really unique elements.
Nice. David says, man, I'm going to have to sign up.
Yeah, sign up. Definitely sign up.
It is
It's a lot of
definitely
fun.
worth it.
It's a lot of fun. I mean, here's the thing. If you like comics in the context of watching it happen, if you like to see how an artist starts with a rough, builds it to the lines, takes it to the inks or the colors or whatever, if you like to watch that kind of progression, then it's for you. If you like to see, I threw out some of my scripting stuff for Catnip that's coming later. Some of my just this weird stream of consciousness, like how am I writing this book? Because it has to be different from everything else that I'm doing. So I let you guys kind of see where that's coming from, so you get a kind of a peek into the writing side of it. So if you like the behind the scenes part, the director's cut stuff, the you know, that kind of thing, then this Patreon is for you. Now, what is it going to evolve into over the years? Who the hell knows? But for now, it is all access, behind the scenes stuff. Like I said, we're about to drop this new exclusive content for you guys. We're going to start showing you what the summer is going to be for Kickstarter, because we have shifted our scheduling. We're doing something a little bit different because of our 10-year anniversary. And you guys on Patreon will start to see the first glimmers of those things. And then, you know, away we go.
Exactly. You have to excuse me. I can only wear that thing for so long down here. It's actually a little warm.
Yeah, it got to like 78 today. 2 days ago, it was 45, and today it's 85 or 75. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's all kinds all over the place. Now, you had mentioned about the evolution of doing things and things changing and all. I want to go ahead and bring up number one. You know, of course, you're almost to your 10-year anniversary, which is amazing in itself. And then a little bit closer to home is actually last night was your 50th episode, which turned into a lot bigger show than I think all of us expected.
It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Well, the crazy part about the show last night was, and we're talking about the Comic Book Shopping Network here, folks. It is a Facebook group of retailers and publishers selling books. We had our most buyers ever, 50 of them on our 50th show. That's unbelievable in and of itself that we had 50 and 50. 50 individual buyers. It would have been ultimately our biggest dollar amount sale as well if I had had help. But I was going so slow because I couldn't keep track of where everybody was in this house. Like, I have everybody's pile, you know, just throughout the room. And I'm like, I have 50 freaking people to, like, where the hell is Eric? And where is Doug? And I don't know where I'm going. So we got through maybe a third of what I was trying to, you know, had the ability to send to bring out. We had 1,200 comments on this thing. 1,200. The highest ever for me at that point on Comic Book Shopping Network had been about 650. So we doubled the comments. We sold every single book that I put on the rack until we went into overtime. So everything that I had designed to sell, like we are showing you this, every book sold. And then we did about 15 minutes extra, and we had like 2 books left on the rack. And it was, what is going on? So it was unbelievable. I still have to do invoices too, but I was so busy getting Goth Day set up that I didn't have time to do invoices. So I'll be doing invoices tomorrow while you guys are buying your Goth books, because I don't have to do anything there. That's just going to be you clicking and choosing what you want. And I can get caught up on invoices and ship whatever I can ship.
Absolutely. And it was incredibly fun in there. It was definitely a challenge with the lag. We usually have fun with the lag as is, but last night was just unreal. We're talking about within a minute or longer lag on some people.
And I don't know if that was because we had so many people. I don't think that was the case. I think it was just simply a matter of, you know, people they're using their phones in the background. They have all their apps on and stuff. And I think it's all of that just lags. So we were telling people, just drop out. If you're on your computer, drop out, come back. If you're on your phone, turn all your other apps off. Like, give your devices the opportunity to run fast. And once we did that, a lot of the people that were having problems were suddenly clicking. So there's your secrets for those of you that are online doing live stuff like this. Make sure your audience, especially if it's sales, make sure your audience is, streamlining their devices so that they can call out and not get massive lag.
Yeah, and it was funny because I was in there last night and I would start seeing all of this stuff called. You hadn't even shown anything yet, and then all of a sudden it was like, a minute later, here you go with something you're showing, and I'm like, huh. So that's why I started doing my Tourette's routine of just going in there and calling out random stuff at a time in a sentence and just trying to claim something, just having some fun with it. And other people started kind of doing the same thing, and we kept it fun. I mean, we always do. The doghouse is always fun.
It's the drag of live selling, unfortunately, especially, and really the problem was ultimately that especially when I started, I only had like 2 or 3 of these things at a time. That was the real bummer, because we had so many people wanting to buy, but I only had a couple of copies. So it was like, oh my God, I called it before him. And this is like, I have to look at my feed. My feed is the only one that counts. I can't look at your feed. And I'm sorry. And so right in the middle of the show, I shifted. I took a left turn and I was like, shit, we just have to bring out some quantity so that people can get these books. And so instead of selling like 2 or 3, I would open up a new pack of like 10. And even those would just get scooped up and be gone. So it was a great show. I had a lot of fun. I mean, I was sweating my butt off. I mean, it was like I was just pacing back and forth, just like, oh my God, I sold it again. So thank you guys for all being part of it, because it was super, super fun. And it was customer appreciation night. So I know that that's part of the reason why we had that big group. But we have been growing anyway. We generally have easily between 20 and 30 buyers every single week anyway. So, and last night we picked up like 4 more new people. So there's definitely growth happening for Big Dog Inc., for comics in general, and for this method of connecting with fans.
Absolutely. And that's another great thing about the doghouse is, case in point with last night. And I'm going to go ahead and give a shout out to Stephen Rose. Thank you very much, Stephen, because Stephen was one of the people there. Let me backtrack a little bit. So whenever things get very chaotic in there and you cannot grab something and you're trying to get something, and especially last night, for every purchase that was made, as long as it was just your first purchase type thing, whatever, then you got the 50th anniversary cover that you're not going to get anywhere else. And once they're done last night, it's done.
Yep.
So a lot of people were vying for that, me included, and I couldn't do it. My lag wouldn't allow me or anything. And again, I'm going to give my shout out to Stephen Rose, because he actually gave up the one that he claimed, because my claim come in late. And so I was the next one to come in and get it. And it was essentially given to me, which was great. And I appreciate that, because it's not only Stephen Rose that does that too. One thing I've noticed in the doghouse is everyone is willing to go ahead and help out another person in there. And I love that kind of community.
Yeah. Everybody's watching what's going on. And some of these folks that are buying some extras, which is fine. I mean, and I know some people buy and flip them. I mean, that's fine too. Do whatever you want to do with the books. So when people have extras already and they see somebody get hosed out, we have a really great community that's just like, you know what, let him have that one. I've already got one of these things, and it's good. It's a really cool group of people. So even if you come in and you don't have a clue what is going on, just sit and watch, enjoy, talk to the people that are in there, talk to me, ask questions, whatever. But it's a fun 2 hours, especially if you're not hyper collecting. Like if there's that one thing that's coming on and you're just sitting there and you're just like, God damn, I want to get that one book. Then it can get stressful. I get it. But usually we have 2 or 3, sometimes 4 or 5 of these things, and it goes a little more mellow than it was last night.
Absolutely. And I mean, you talk about the hyper collecting, because, I can't think of anybody who would be in there that would actually do anything like Rob Mayor. I'm sorry, that's, static or something on here. I don't know what that is. But anyway, no, it's fun. We have a blast with it. And the cool thing is I love whenever you can actually hear the tempo change. I'm not talking about feel it. I'm talking about hear the tempo change online. Whenever I can hear you off stage or off camera, and everyone else hears you going, huh, I forgot I had this box. What's in here? You can feel and hear everybody just cracking knuckles and getting ready for everything, and they're like, oh, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And it's fun whenever you do that, because every once in a while you will throw something else out there that we're like, wait a minute, I haven't seen that since I've been in the doghouse. What's going on here?
Yeah, we had some stuff on last night that just kind of popped up that wasn't like super rare, but it was definitely things we had not had for a while. It was only like a couple of black and white J. Scott Campbells and odds and ends. But every now and then those really key things pop up, and it's like, I don't even know what to do, guys. It's Natalie Sanders, Penny Fearsall, go. Like, 30 seconds and it's gone. And those are rough, but it also makes the show fun because you don't know always what's going to be there. And so people tune in to see if the really rare stuff will appear. And it does on occasion, but usually the books are anywhere between $10 to $20. It's not going to break your bank. Oftentimes we'll bring in some of the low end stuff, like just the regular A and B covers that are like $4. So we try and make it so that everybody has a chance to get something, regardless of the price or the rarity or whatever.
Yeah, and it is. I mean, you never know what you're going to get, and you never know how much fun you're going to have in there, because there was an event that happened last night that I know all of us caught. I don't know if you fully caught exactly the event, but you had a sketch cover for Ursa Minor that was available. I think you had 4 of them. And the first person who actually claimed it was Steph Wilson. And Steph immediately put on there, he said, there will be mayhem. So we're all waiting to see what's going to happen on your sketch cover for that.
Yeah. Yeah, we've definitely had artists buy sketch covers before. Mog Park has bought sketch covers. I think Justin Hunt has bought some sketch covers. So there's definitely artists that buy them. They don't always just use them automatically. Like they'll offer it to their fans, like, hey, I've got a Critter one, or I've got a Scheherazade one, or whatever, and let their fans pick what they're going to draw, which makes sense. But yeah, that happens a lot. So I'm always excited to see what people do with those things. So yeah.
Absolutely. And now, as far as the BDI lineup that you have, of all the different books you've got and everything that you've currently gotten, do you feel that there's one that gets more attention than another one, or is it just based on the tempo of when they're released, or how do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's all different now because everything's Kickstarter and direct sales versus retail market, because the retail market is very different from the general market as far as sales go. Scheherazade was always our number 1 selling book in retail when we were in stores. Then Oz, and then Penny for Your Soul. Like, those were the top 3 in order: Scheherazade, Oz, Penny. When it comes to Kickstarters, Penny is number 1, like hands down. Princesses versus Zombies is now number 2. This is now number 2. And number 3, I believe, was Oz. And then Scheherazade was right below it. So our best-selling retail book is our 4th best Kickstarter book. Figure that out.
I was going to say, how do you attribute that was actually the best one in retail? That I don't understand what's pushing that one.
Sales numbers were just much higher. Our orders for Scheherazade were usually in the 5,000 range, and then everything else was below that.
Yeah, and was that mainly like diamond orders that they were doing, or was it actual
retail store orders? Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That's interesting though, because that's why I was just wondering, because you see so many different titles that you have. I think you have 5 current ones correctly right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, we have really nothing is current other than Princesses versus Zombies and Scheherazade, because those are the 2 most recent things. Everything else is kind of one shot here, one shot there. Penny, we just finished up a 7-issue run. So we have 11 titles at Big Dog Inc. Any one of them could be current at any time. If I decide I want to be current on Antoinette next month, we will be current on Antoinette next month. It will just happen. But we are trying to do, because we know we have arcs that we need to do with Oz, arcs that we know we need to do with Penny, and so on. We're trying to design Kickstarter scheduling so that we can knock these arcs out.
Okay.
Versus, Penny, Oz, Critter, Antoinette, Lights Camera Jungle, like 1. Like with Penny, we saw massive growth because we were running Penny 1 through 7, and our 1 was here and our 7 was here. I mean, it was just incremental growth. And so we're going to do the same thing in 2021. We're going to bring Oz back starting in January, and we're going to run Oz and Penny next year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, and try and regain some of that momentum, while along the way sprinkling in, here's Critter 22, here's maybe a Princess versus Zombies again, another one shot, whatever. So we'll sprinkle in some other stuff, Kaiju Epic, Lights Camera Jungle, while we're doing these larger runs for these other books. That's kind of the loose plan for next year.
Absolutely. I mean, you've got a lot of fans who it's almost overwhelming whenever you first start looking into BDI, because you're like, okay, where do I start? I mean, there's so many, like you said, you got 11 titles, but not all of them are current by any means. And some of them you can't even get first books for. So what do you do? So this would at least give them an option to go ahead and start in from the ground floor again with BDI.
Right. And that's where doing the one shots helps too, because this is where you start. It's number 1. It's right here. Don't worry about anything else. Dive in, get your Princesses versus Zombies. Dive in, get your Kaiju Epic. Dive in, get your Lights Camera Jungle. There's one issue. Well, with Princesses, there's 2 issues now. But, you're not going back 10 years worth of history to have to start with a book that doesn't exist. Like Penny for Your Soul Volume 1 has been out of print for years. And we are coming to a point where we are going to fix that. Spoiler alert. Be ready for that.
Now, of course, Critter has been your baby for the longest time running with all this. And that's why tomorrow, or should I say tonight, or 12:01, whatever we want to call it, is very important to you, because you're actually introducing a brand new character on there. If you want to go ahead and talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, that was another part of the Goth Day that just sort of found legs and ran. Those that know Critter know that Critter is a superhero series, very classic style superhero series. We do a lot of superhero tropes, but we have fun with it. We don't get too serious about it. And within the Critter universe, there are parallel dimensions that have different versions of Critter. There is a vampire Critter. There is a steampunk Critter. There is a what we call the Catgirl of Mars Critter, who's like an outer space Catgirl of Mars, Deja Thoris type of thing. And so when I started to do a Critter goth cover, the initial thought process was just, well, let's just goth up Critter and just have fun with it like we do with the other characters. But then I realized it was like, oh, wait a minute. This is an opportunity to not just goth up Critter, but we can actually make this character relevant within her story, because we can make her a goth version of Critter, like literally, and have her set in her own universe, like the steampunk version and so on. And I was like, oh, hell yes, we're going all in on this. And I jumped on Facebook, and I was like, okay, I need a designer, like right now. I need somebody to design this thing. This was not going to be a weird like mishmash of let's just goth this and goth. No, I want a design for this. And a bunch of folks jumped in. Most were just not what I was looking for. They weren't grasping where I wanted to go. And then there was Lorenzo Lozana, who, this is the weirdest story on the planet with this guy. We'll have to talk about that story in a while. A good story, just a really weird, like, how the hell did this happen story. But Lorenzo has been working for Lions Forge Comics for a long, long time, since their inception, I think. But I've known him for longer. Anyway, that's a different story. Lorenzo is a cool designer, and so he was one of the guys that was like, yeah, let me try out and see if this is going to work. And he started like nailing down, like, yeah, he's right in the right ballpark that I want to play in. And so Lorenzo and I just went back and forth. I was reference this, reference that, and I was like, okay, this, tighten this. blue that, black that, short hair, long hair, short hair, long hair, nope, short hair, let's stay there. And he was fantastic. And one of these days I'm going to get Lorenzo on live with me because I want to talk to him about design and let you guys know where Catnip came from. And finally we got Catnip out, and it was just like, oh my God, this is so good. This is so good. And I was super excited about it. And we debuted it on Patreon and all that kind of stuff. And then it was like, oh dude, I have to get a cover of this like right now. Like I can't even wait. Nothing else mattered. Everything stopped. I was like, I need a cover right now. Who's going to do this cover? And I stumbled across this guy, this MR Gun guy. I had been following him on Facebook for a while, just like I had followed David Fott for a while and some of these other guys. And finally I was like, you're up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving you the shot. It's happening right now. And he was like, yeah, man, let's do this. And in fact, he was like, I don't know if I can do it right now. I have to wait. And I was like, I have time, but I want it done. And so he actually wrote me an email. He's like, no, you know what? Forget it. I don't even want to do the other stuff. I'm going to do Catnip right now. So I was like, oh, okay, nice. And so he turned this cover in, and I was just like, it's so good. It's crazy when you're as a creator, when something visually just clicks so perfectly that you're just like, you have to do more. And I already have 2 other covers done. Like, I don't even have anything to do with them. Like, 0. I don't know what I'm doing with these covers, but I have 2 more. One of them's completely done. It is by Kale Niu. You guys know him from Penny for Your Soul and Oz. You know what he does. This cover is ridiculous. And the other is by Hedwin Zaldivar, who is almost done with it. He's basically doing a final color pass, and we will probably end up doing a little bit of teasing this weekend with those, so you guys can see what's coming. But I'm so geeked about Catnip, I can't even tell you. And when I posted the images, everybody else seemed to be like, oh, that's something special too. And so I think we have something there. And in September, we're doing an event on Kickstarter called ClickCon with myself, CB Zane, Wendy Shaner, and Catnip's first actual full book, full story, will be part of ClickCon.
So, and you've alluded to this on other things that you've been on and whatnot, and I'm going to go ahead and say this right now. At 1201, you have the opportunity of getting first time on cover.
Yes.
Would be Catnip. So that's huge because everybody who collects knows that.
Yep.
And then in September is first appearance in the book.
Right. So it's kind of like the Hulk thing, the Wolverine thing. It's like first appearance cameo, cover appearance, and then first full appearance will be Catnip in September. Yeah. And Larry wants to know what Critter's first appearance is. Critter's first appearance is Critter number 0, what we call the secret origin issue. Critter number 0 is her first appearance, unless you count my sketchbook where I drew her in the back of, business class in 1990. That's technically her first appearance. But as far as a published appearance, it is Critter number 0. And
you still have that sketchbook?
Oh yeah. It's not even a sketchbook. It's a stupid yellow ruled pad, that I was taking notes in. It's filled with art, not just Critter, just with other art too. Like because I wanted to be an artist back in the day. So I was trying to learn how to draw this stuff. And I got bored drawing whatever the hell I was drawing. I was like, I'm just going to make up my own character because that's more interesting. And Critter was born. That was it.
Yeah. And it's so simple. I mean, the story, the plot, I mean, everything is so simple in Critter, but it works. And it's one of those things that you've never over embellished to the point where I'm like, no, look, I can't read this anymore. It's just gone too far fetched.
No, it's not supposed to be. It's just supposed to be classic, old school, sci-fi, superhero fun. So this is the reproduction. Let's see if I can get this here.
Oh, let me get them full screen.
That's
there you
Critter
go.
right there. That's what I drew in business class. It is the only published art that I have. This is in the Critter Volume 1 book. So we threw that in there as a little bit of fun. But that is the original design from 1990, back of business class. That's how much attention was being paid. It's not really true. I had a great professor. It was he was like he told me all the time, he was like, dude, you are going to be super successful. And I'm like, I don't know how, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And he was like, no, you have a knack for figuring things out. So whatever you do, whatever it is, he wasn't like, you're going to be a businessman or whatever. He was just like, whatever you do, you're going to be successful, because as long as you take the time to figure it out and have it make sense, the dominoes will fall. And, we've had some roller coasters with this, but ultimately now, especially now, over the past couple of years, things have started to click with me, because I have not wanted to play the standard comic book game. And we kind of changed the rules for myself, not for the industry, but for myself. I changed the rules of how I wanted to do it, how I wanted to play this game. And so far, the success levels are just, up and up and up.
Absolutely. Now, to kind of backtrack a little bit further, when was it in your life that you actually just thought, hey, let's do comics? I mean, when was that point?
It was supposed to be a side thing. It was 2000. Let's see, I started in 10, so 9, 2005-ish, maybe something like that. Is where I realized, okay, I'm not going to draw anything, so let me see if I can write something. And that's when I started tinkering with writing and learning how to do it, what it's supposed to look like, how it's supposed to work, so on and so on. And it was just supposed to be a side thing. It was going to be like, hey, I'm going to have my 9-to-5 job or whatever, and then I'd go do a con and just have some fun and just sell comics, on the side. But then in 2009, I got laid off when the recession hit, and at that point, I had Critter basically done, Penny basically done, and I was like, well, let me just go do this before I go, apply at Walmart or whatever. And that's 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes it takes an event that happens out of your control that can kind of push you in the direction you need to go, which is kind of what's happening right now with everybody.
Yeah, well, and that's what happened a second time with because when I was with Aspen, Aspen was my publisher for 3 years, but then they sold their company to a movie studio, and at that point there was no room for Big Dog Inc. And again, I was sort of pushed out to like, hey, you've got to figure this out. And that is when we landed in the Kickstarter realm. For like, seriously, we had done a couple previously, but it was like, okay, this is going to be how we're going to do this. How the hell do we do this? And we kind of had to figure it all out. And it has been far from perfect. I take responsibility for that. And really, there's no reason not to, because I don't have anybody else that's helping me really. And that's also part of the problem, is I'm doing it all by myself. So while I'm packing books and shipping them out, I can't be writing. When I'm writing, I can't be marketing. When I'm marketing, I can't be, so that's part of what we're trying to fix this year and into next year now because of this Corona thing, because I can't really hire anybody to help me. But infrastructure is next for rebuilding this and actually streamlining the process of everything. And making it all work better for us and for you guys.
Mm-hmm. And you can definitely tell, I mean, like we've already kind of touched on about the whole 10-year anniversary for the company and everything, you can definitely tell that you're not slowing down by any means. You're not being complacent.
No, you can't. I've had this conversation with other people. Comics don't stop. Creators stop. And sometimes you need to. Sometimes you got to catch your breath. I get it. There's plenty of books from Image that like take a hiatus. They come back. It's fine. But comics don't stop. So if you stop as a creator, all the other comics keep going. Which means now you're behind all the people that have been doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So even with us, even in us falling behind and being late on some of these books, it was never an option to stop, because as soon as you stop, everybody else just keeps on going. So we just powered through it. It wasn't ideal. It wasn't what we had envisioned, you know, like, hey, let's just be late on all these books. No, screw that. We don't want to be late. But we just kept getting hit with things like artists would drop out. We had a printer drop out on us. It was just like, holy hell. I mean, what is going on? And we had worked our way through this year. And this year was like, we are going to be on time. Everything worked for Scheherazade to be on time and shipped on time. And then we had a pandemic. Holy crap. I mean, what more can I do, universe, you know, to placate you and just let me get some shit done and move forward. But, you know, again, it is what it is. We do what we can do within what we're allowed to do. And we just try and get better each time.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I completely agree on that. And for those who are watching this and may not know, I mean, Tom does not sit back and just kind of hide in the shadows waiting for things to go ahead and clarify and whatnot. He's actually out there communicating with everybody. So I don't think there's a day that goes by that we don't have some form of communication as far as what's going on with the Kickstarter or with fulfillment or something along those lines. We always know there's something happening with this. And even with setting up the doghouse, I mean, there have been times whenever you didn't feel like doing the doghouse at one point, and you flat out said, you know what, guys, we're not having a sale tonight. You're going to sit in here and I'm going to go through my personal collection.
Yep.
When I first saw that, I was like, now that's kind of odd, but it was really cool because we got to know you as on a personal note instead of just a business note for, you know, that 2 hours we were there, which
Yeah,
was, I think was really cool.
Yeah, and that was part of the point is I'm not just sitting here going, hey, buy my book. I mean, like I'm a comic book collector too. We were talking about this before the show started. I just got a bunch of these in the mail finally. Old school Marvel stuff, Hellcat, you know. I buy comics too. I've got a collection. I'm doing the same thing you guys are doing. It's just so happens that my job is making and selling comics as well. So it was really fun to just kind of sit and shoot the breeze, and it was fun to just go through the collection too, just to see things that I didn't even remember I'd had, and see who else was collecting the same thing, and you know, on and on and on. So yeah, it was a really unique and interesting show, I think that I think it went over well. I think it helped us connect as fans, friends, buyers, seller, whatever. I don't know that I'll do it again, but you know, we've had casual nights on the doghouse before where we just kind of go out and you know, just chat and shoot the breeze and talk about some of the relevant stuff, like if there's a Kickstarter happening or whatever. And then you know, and then we pick up a show next week.
Yeah, and I think we've already discussed that on one of your casual nights, we're going to have to go through your Godzilla collectibles and kind of look at those. I don't know, 2 hours is long enough to look at those, though.
You know, I have a handful of them in the bedroom here. The rest of it is all boxed up. It's gonna, when I finally get my own place, which hopefully will be at the end of this year. I should probably just do a live unboxing video for the house, because God knows what I'm going to be pulling out of these boxes that have been in the basement for 6 years.
You may want to screen that video before you go ahead and go live with that.
Yeah, we'll do it on a tape delay. We'll do it on a delay.
No, it's interesting to see, because my point is you're not one of those that just, like you said, you're not sitting over there going, just buy my book, just spend money, give me money. We're actually getting involved in your life as well, and that's really cool, because now I'm going to go ahead and stick my neck out on this one, and probably some people are going to catch me on this one, but your whole Snapchat thing, it's funny, and I'll go ahead and put that on record. You have it there. It's on record. It's funny. It throws me off so much, because I'll see Tom Hutchison has a post. I will click on it, and it'll automatically open up on there. And sometimes I need therapy after looking at it. Sometimes it's incredibly funny, and I'll, you know, laugh out loud scenario. But it's good to see that side of you.
I don't understand Snapchat. The bottom line is I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't use it. I mean, obviously I have an account, but I don't post anything there. All of the pictures that I take on Snapchat are basically just saved to the phone and then brought to Facebook. I do nothing with Snapchat. I have no clue what the hell it is, what it does, or why it exists. And so that's why I started posting those things. I just started using the filter things and posting them on Facebook. I'm like, what the hell is this? Who is authorizing the floating strawberry filter? Like, what does it mean? I don't get it. And then it just became this thing where it was like, okay, let's see what other stupid things Snapchat has today. And it became a thing. So,
Well, that is definitely the case with that. Now we've talked about one of the covers being that it's with catnip. So we're kind of leading into, we've got just over an hour before we hit the midnight time, and we can actually physically see these things and be able to pick them up.
Yeah.
So the next one I want to go ahead and talk about, since Steph is already in here, if we'll go ahead and talk about his cover, which I believe is
I don't really want to talk about that guy.
Oh, you want to talk about that? Okay, we'll skip that one.
There's we don't want to overinflate the ego.
No, never. Never
Actually,
want to do
we
that.
talked about him to begin with. Because he was we talked about him before because he was the first cover that got done, the Scheherazade cover.
Right.
He was the guy that I went to first because I knew we could get it done quickly. And it was one of those where, we talk about edits all the time with Steph and with all the artists, but that was one where really the first one that he did was right. And then he actually did another one. I didn't ask him to, but he did another one. And I was like, no, that's wrong. Go back to the first one. And it was basically done. A couple of little just setting tweaks, we made the gargoyle a little bigger and so on. But really it was a first time accurate thing. And then we just kind of tweaked details along the way. So he did a great job and it came out amazing. Sanju Nivengoon on the colors, the stained glass window is amazing. It looks really great. And just from the releases that we've done, all the teases, people have been digging on it. So that's great.
Now, I've got to ask, because everyone else has probably got the same question on their minds. Is there a doppelganger of Steph? Should we be worried in this? Because he's putting out so much work so fast. We're kind of wondering if it's actually the same person or if we've got, multiplicity going on here. What's going on with this?
It's like he's got like a ghost artist, just somebody else. Somebody's just in the basement just drawing while he's on social media. Yeah, that's probably true. It's probably accurate. Yeah.
When he says no sleep in comics, that's just code for, he's making another clone somewhere.
Yeah, that's the GIMP doesn't sleep. He sleeps fine. It's the GIMP drawing doesn't sleep.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, I see his work in a lot of things, and that's why whenever I saw that it was actually going to be part of this, and like you said, it was one of your first ones you did, but it was the last one that you showed.
Yeah, it was the last one that was showed because we wanted Sanju to color it, and it just took forever for Sanju to get to it. So that was what happened there. Otherwise, we would have debuted it earlier, but it just happened that in succession and with getting into Sanju's workload, it just ended up being the last one. But Sanju knocked it out, got it done, and we are good to go.
Absolutely. Now I got to bring this up real quick because Justin, you're making me sad over here. I haven't had pork roll in a while, so yeah, we got to get some of that over this way too. He knows over here in Jersey that's a thing. Oh, my Texas twang is going away because I'm actually pronouncing it thing instead of thang. I've been here too long.
Thang. That thing.
So, we've got Scheherazade there. So since we're going ahead and bringing up about Justin, let's go ahead and talk about his cover.
Justin was, Justin was what I tell everybody to do. Justin was a guy who I had put out a call for something. I don't remember what it was at the time. Might have been a cover, might have been something. I don't know. Anyway, he sent me his samples. And for whatever reason, it didn't vibe for whatever it was that I was trying to get done. And I shouldn't say I should say but the fact that he sent stuff, it stuck in my head. So months later, I saw him because I had been following him on Facebook. I saw him draw something. I don't remember what he drew. I think it was just like some kind of demon angel girl thing. And it was really, really good. And I was like, that's really, really good. So I went to message him and it brought back up all of the old reference that he had sent. And I went, oh, this is this guy. And so I went through the reference again, and I'm like, none of this makes sense. This is not what I'm seeing over here. Did this guy like level up like in a few months? Like, what's going on? And so I messaged him. I was like, dude, I saw this thing that you drew, but it doesn't match the reference that you sent, all this other stuff. And he says, yeah, I've got like a few different styles. And that's the stuff that I had sent to other people that had gotten used. I was like, oh, well, that makes sense, but I don't want any of that. I want what you drew on that devil angel girl thing. Like, can you do that? Because that is what I want. And he was like, yeah, man. And yeah, the demon lady. Yeah, that is what it was. And I was like, dude, I want that. And can you do that for me? And he was like, I can totally do that for you. And I gave him the idea of what we had. And he dove in and he just started doing designs and trying to work out Mary Magdalene. And what he came up with, what he did, what his final piece was, is just like, it's like, holy crap, dude, this is unbelievable. And this means that I have to put Sanju on the colors because, again, and so that was one of the reasons that Scheherazade didn't get done, is because I slapped Justin's in the schedule as well. I was like, this is going to take some time, Sanju. Can you get both of these done? He was like, yeah, no problem. So he got it done, and it's just like, it's mind-bendingly cool. And when you look at all the details and everything, it's just like, wow, Justin. I mean, just out of the park, just out of the park. So well done, sir. We definitely have some more from Justin coming. There's actually another cover already finished. We haven't even announced it yet. It's already finished. We know what it's going to be, when it's coming, all that kind of stuff. But so expect more from Justin. There is definitely more to come. But turning Mary Magdalene goth was incredible. She's back in her old throne that Jen Broomall designed many years ago. So I love that, bringing that back, kind of the new Mary with the old throne design. And it's a really great piece. And I think you guys are going to really love it.
Yeah. And I remember whenever it was released on Patreon, and I think it was just the pencils, if I'm not mistaken, is all that was released on there. And my jaw hit the ground, because on pencils, you're not supposed to see that much detail. So like you're talking about, and it had that much detail. And you even put in the comments something about you're going to be amazed, or you're going to be awestruck or something. It's the wording that you had on there. And I'm thinking, okay, let me take a look at this and see what he's talking about. And sure enough, the picture opens up and you're like, holy crap.
It is no joke. I mean, that is a hell of a way to debut for a company. I can't be any more happy with it. I mean, it's unbelievable. It is instantly probably a top 10 cover of all time in BDI history. It is incredible.
Absolutely. I completely agree on that. In fact, I'll be getting a copy that I know I'll end up getting slabbed. It's just too nice to not be slabbed. That like has to be.
Yeah, it'll look good in a frame, that's for sure.
Now, there's a lot of commotion over here. Give me just a moment, because there's a lot of talk. But then again, it's it's just like the doghouse and everything, where they just get over here and start.
Oh yeah.
Because usually it's the same people doing it, and it's pretty much the same over here as well. But Steph and Russell starting trouble, which is the normal thing. Carrie's trying to keep them in line. That's the normal thing too. Oh, here. This is what Steph's upset about. Justin bumped me on the schedule, and he has pork roll.
Yeah, I know. That's just putting salt in the wound.
Yeah, we have way too much fun in this group, and everybody that's around, and I have a blast. And I appreciate everybody who's allowed me to even be a part of all of this. And it's been amazing to do it, and being able to see everything from the ground floor. You can go to any comic book store and you can look at the books directly on there. And this is a whole new level of wow factor to me, because what I can see in an LCS, yeah, it gets your attention and you want to either buy it or you don't. But now I get to see from conception all the way to it's the finished product. It's a huge difference on there whenever you see everything in between, and I'm amazed by that. And if you're interested in getting in on that, definitely go with Patreon for that. I cannot stress enough. It's just mind-boggling on how much stuff is available in there that you can actually see.
And like I said, it's going to be more. it's just a matter of time and ability to do more. But the exclusive content is going to be really, really fun. This is something I've had in the back of my head for a long time, trying to figure out how to do this. It's going to be very unique. Hopefully it works. But like I said, we'll be hopefully starting that in July, but all the Patreon folks will start to get some of the teasers happening pretty soon. We already have the logo done. Ed Lavallee did our logo, which looks great. The design for the panels, because it's basically going to be, webcomics, more or less, but we're doing it in a different format than has been done before, and the format is more or less designed already, which is great. So then we just gotta write it out and start making it happen.
Now, we've mentioned 3 of the artists so far. We have 2 more, and we'll get to them. But the question is I know you've kind of stepped around the fact that you'll get with them or they'll reach out to you or something like that. But how do you choose who's going to be on the roster? How do you go about going ahead and saying, look, it has to happen? I don't care what it is, but they have to be on here.
It's just talent. I mean, and talent is abstract. Art is abstract. People like what they like, so it's hard to really kind of just say that, bring it here. But for the most part, I feel like I know what is marketable art, like truly marketable art. Like any art is technically marketable. I mean, the dude got $100,000 for sticking a banana to a wall. So anything is marketable. But in the comic book world, there to me is a baseline, and you have to reach that baseline to be considered marketable, to where I can take you, if nobody knows who you are, and present you to my fan base and say, hey guys, I believe you will like this. David Fott is one of those new guys. M.R. Gunn is one of those new guys. Justin Hunt is one of those new guys. Now, they may have done work elsewhere, but that doesn't necessarily translate to Big Dog Inc. Big Dog Inc. crowd and fans have artistic styles and desires that they enjoy. But again, a lot of that comes from me because I chose this artist and said, go. We gave Natalie Sanders a huge starting point when she was starting. We gave Jem Broomall a huge starting point when she started. We've done well with finding first-time guys, or not, I won't say first-time guys, but early in their career people, and saying, yeah, this person's good. And I want to make sure that this person gets out there and is part of what we're doing. Jen Broomall is a huge part of Big Dog Geek's history, because not only was she doing covers, she was doing design work for us. She was designing Oz characters and Critter characters and all kinds of stuff. So she's got her fingerprints all over Big Dog Geek, and we love Jen, and we're so glad that she's back doing art again, because she took about a year off sabbatical. So the fact that she's back is wonderful, and we can't thank her enough for all the stuff that she did for us, and hopefully we'll have her back again. But I actually had this conversation with somebody just a couple days ago, where we've worked with some of the best in the business. I mean, all the way up to like J. Scott Campbell. And so we've been very, very lucky with who we've been able to work with as far as like the hired guns like that. But we're also clearly able to work and market and sell and thrive using people that don't have that name value behind them, that aren't the marquee players. And we can take those guys that I think are really good and say, okay, I'm giving you this chance on this book. David Fott, I want you to draw Cindy from Princess versus Zombies. Give me a little leg, give me a little booty, give me a little smile. Show me what you can do. And he comes through, Justin Hunt. I'm like, Justin, you're the stuff you sent me is weird, and I don't know how to use that. But clearly you've got something because you drew this. I want that. So take that, put it on Mary Magdalene. Show me what you got. Holy crap, that's really good. So I feel like as an art director, I know how to move through the folks that are close, but not quite, and the guys that have crossed the line and just need sort of a push into what they could be. And sorry, Steph, but that means edits. You gotta be able to listen to edits. Hey man, this body structure doesn't work, this pose doesn't work, that leg is too thin, whatever. Fix the things that the editor wants you to fix, and do it without snark, and guess what? You're gonna get jobs again. I mean, it's literally as simple as that. But in the end, the buyers decide your value, because it doesn't matter how much I like it. If the buyers don't buy it, there's not really anything I can do about it. We can try again, see if a different concept works, a different genre works. But in the end, the buyers decide what comes back, because those are the books that are selling out quickly, or just selling a lot of them initially. Those are the ones that clearly people are like, yeah, I want that guy back. And then we want that guy back.
And that makes complete and total sense, because you need to have that symmetry to go ahead and work with them to get this done. Now, that brings up another question is within the symmetry, I mean, you're mainly doing this side over here. It's a 50-50 split, is it not? I mean, you don't have other writers and everything involved, or do you?
50-50 split for what?
So like there's you and then there's the artist is what I'm saying. So you have that split in there as far as who's working on what. But you don't have anyone else involved. It's usually just you and the writers, correct?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Everything
okay, so you're
everything is me down. I make the determinations for everything.
Yeah. Okay. So you're looking for that symmetry that actually works not only with how you work with it, but how it works well within the story, and then keeps the story evolving and building, so that you're not at a stopping point at any time.
Correct. Yes.
And that makes total sense on there to actually do that, because that way you have building points you can keep leading up to. Because if you have, I mean, you could have the best artist on there, but if you have no symmetry in it and it can't go any further, and it's a great one shot, it's done.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes artists don't blend with genres properly. Sometimes artists don't take direction well. So there's all kinds of reasons why you can stop working with an artist or a colorist or whatever. All kinds of different reasons. I have stories. In 10 years, you have stories. But I kind of feel like I'm pretty good at locking people in where they will succeed best. Like, I'm not necessarily going to give David Fott a run at Critter, because I don't think his style will necessarily mesh, unless I have like a kind of a dark superhero, like, or a villain or something, maybe in that realm. But I think that he fits in the horror world, darker side of things. That's why he did Princesses versus Zombies. That's why he did this goth Dorothy Gale. I think that his style fits that. Whereas if I have Critter, we need to be a little more bright. We need to be a little more cheery. We need to be a little more superhero-y. So I wouldn't be against letting David try. And I've let artists kind of move through genres before and say, like, look, you've been doing this. Let's see what you can do with this. But it's basically 50-50. If I've got somebody kind of pegged, like, I think this is where you belong, more than likely I'm leaving them right there, and I will just let them specialize in that stuff. And in some ways, that's great, because that means that if they do a bunch of horror stuff, for example, and then we go and we do like Oz and Critter and, things like that, that's an artist that's sort of like, oh, hey, whatever happened to David? And I'm like, well, he's fine. He's there. We just haven't done that stuff. And then we bring horror back, and it's like, hey, horror's back. David's back. And people get excited. Hey, David's back. Cool. Another thing from David. So it kind of gives a break in all these covers and stuff, and it allows us to find new people to fill in these gaps and keep the artistic roots growing, because eventually some of these guys, they just move on and we can't get them back again. So we have to fill in those gaps, and we've done that. We've got, Marta Nael is becoming huge for us. Prywinko, Mike Crome has been great with sticking with us. David is with us now. Jimbo Salgado, Pedro Perez, good Lord. I mean, we've got all of this new talent coming in, MR Gunn and Justin Hunt, and all these new guys are like just filling in like so fast. I've even got guys that you don't even know who they are, and they're working on stuff. You guys have no idea I've even hired them, and they're doing things right now because I'm always looking for somebody else, not to replace, but just to have that breadth of artistic change and differential. Because that's art, man. I mean, it can't all just be the same every time. You've got to really kind of push either in concept or something to keep it all fresh.
Yep, exactly. Now, you mentioned about David, so I mean, his cover was not what I was expecting, because David being David and being so into the horror stuff and everything, whenever I saw his cover, I was like, that doesn't look like his style. That's really cool. I like how he actually portrayed the look on there, gave the feel. It was a very it almost gives it an eerie feel to the cover without being, blatantly horror. It's very subtle in how it does it, and I like how it was done with that. So if you can kind of talk about a little bit about his.
Well, his actually, he kicked me some rough stuff, and I didn't really go for any of it, except one of them that he had her sort of like a bar girl. The pose was all wrong. I was like, this doesn't work. But because he had done the bar girl version in the rough, it triggered a memory of mine where we had a cosplayer, Victoria Page, who did a cosplay version of Dorothy as a bar girl, basically. And I was like, oh my God, we could do that. We could take what Victoria did and sort of modify it for this goth version. And I showed him the picture of it, and he was like, oh my God, I am on this. And he came back with some redos of what we wanted. And I was like, yeah, this is going to look great. And so he started piecing it all together and doing all the bar scene and everything. And it was just kind of piece after piece after piece after piece, and change that, move the leg, change the costume, fix that, whatever. And it came out fantastic. I again, just like his Princess versus Zombies, I love it. It's so cool. And same colorist for Princess versus Zombies is Elenia DiNapoli. She came on and colored the Dorothy Gale goth cover, and it just looks incredible. And it's not, it's Dorothy, but there's no blue in this. Normally, When we do Dorothy, there's a little bit of blue, but in this case, we kept it all ruby. So she's got the ruby shoes, the ruby gun, sort of the ruby bustier thing. We kept it all ruby. I think she has like a blue ribbon on her arm. That's the only blue that we have. So that's kind of the only sort of weird character discrepancy. But I like that it's all red. Like it's all the same, basically. And red and black, because Dorothy, in our costume, or in our book itself, Dorothy is the witch of the West and East, which means she has red and black bullets. So it really kind of puts all of the things together properly, the way that we want it, and presents her in a completely new format, genre, whatever.
Mm-hmm. And it works. I mean, like I said, it gives that just a little bit of subtlety in there to where it gets your attention. It draws you to it. You want to pay more attention to what's going on. You have that feel of something is different, but I can't figure out what it is, but it looks so good I can't turn away, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's definitely worth it. Now, we're about 45 minutes away from doing the official unveiling of the website, and you can go over there and get your books and everything while they're available. Want to go ahead and point out that what happens in the first 24 hours if you get your books, because I know they're available this weekend.
Yep.
But if you get them in the first 24 hours, you have something special.
Yeah, so the first 24 hours, there's two things that are happening. The first is anything that you buy, any of the books that you buy, you're also going to get a holofoil trading card that is just like we did with Princess versus Zombies, although these are metal, so a little bit different. These are going to be holofoil. It is a trading card that are called COAs, first day COA. It is not a certificate of authenticity. It is a certificate of awesome, because you guys were there in the first 24 hours to nab these books. You're getting that bonus item just automatically. And when you go in and you see the books, the trading card, there's a little picture of the trading card as well. So you'll see that. So as you're buying, you will see the picture of the cover you're buying and the holofoil card that you get. So it's midnight to midnight, midnight tonight to midnight tomorrow, and then the cards are gone. There are no more cards. Any of the books that are remaining will still continue on through the weekend, but the cards will be gone. So if you want the COA, first 24 hours. Now, the other thing that we have in the first 24 hours, is holofoil versions of these covers. The holofoil versions will be printed to order through midnight to midnight. So if we get orders for 27, we're making 27. We'll make more than that because the artists are going to get comps and all that kind of stuff. But there's no, whereas the regular books are limited to 100 copies, the foils are just however many get ordered. And again, at midnight tomorrow, Friday night, the foils will be deactivated and you cannot buy them again. So that's our first 24 hours. And then come Saturday, we have something being added Saturday, and then they will be single day only. And then Sunday, we will add our final item. So it is World Goth weekend, but we do have the first 24 hours as well as the second 24 hours as single day items.
And that's a lot that's going on with that. And for anyone who's watching this who is not familiar with BDI and not familiar with their products and how the collectors generally don't want to sell them or get rid of them by any means, I'm telling you right now, when these things are gone, they're going to be next to impossible to find. Or if you do find them, you're going to pay for them.
Yeah, I mean, being limited to 100 is already super low. I mean, that's just think about that. It's 100 people. We had 50 people buy stuff last night on our live show. That's half of the book. It's gone. So just being 100, that's already super limited. The foils and the extra stuff, anytime we do printed to order, that stuff goes into people's collections. It does not come out. Or if it does, you're paying hundreds of dollars for that stuff. So, we don't want to be here just being like, come shell out all your money and empty your PayPal. That's not the goal. But if there's something that you think you want that's special, like one of these foil covers, get the damn foil cover, because when you see it the next time, you're going to be talking about $100 a shot, $200 for some of these things. And we have, this has happened multiple times now with Kickstarters. We had Oz and we had Princesses versus Zombies. They had exclusive books to the campaign. Scheherazade as well. And when the campaign was over, I had messages. Oh, I missed it. How do I get the? You don't, because they're exclusive to the campaign. Again, the artist might have some comps, but even in that situation, you're talking about 5 to 10 copies, and they're going to be expensive. So there's no reason to wait. There is no reason to wait. On a Kickstarter, there's no reason to wait. Yeah, we don't do anything. We finish in a month, sure. But with Princesses versus Zombies, we had 2 reward levels sell out in the first week. And so if you're waiting until the end of the campaign, and then you're like, oh, how do I get that Mirror Mirror Carl Liversidge? You don't. Don't wait.
Not selling mine.
Make sure you get at least the one thing that you want, then come back for anything else. But if there's one thing that you're looking at and you're going, oh, I'd really like that Ursa Minor Naomi Nei cover, just get it. Don't wait, because it's going to be gone, and then it's going to cost you a fortune on the resale market.
Absolutely. I could not agree more. And yes, the whole Carl Liversidge Mirror Mirror, I think that was the first one that sold out on the Kickstarter.
In the first day.
Yeah. I'm not selling mine. Sorry. It's mine.
Yeah.
I didn't miss out. Now, you mentioned about the final cover, which is Nei Rufino's Ursa Minor. So if you want to go ahead and talk a little bit about that one, because that one I was not expecting. I mean, Steph's usually, he pops up everywhere that there's a new cover being unveiled. He's got some hand in there somewhere. So you're kind of halfway expecting. But Nei Rufino with Ursa Minor, I was like, wait a minute, because these are all number ones. These are, I don't know if we've mentioned that or not, but these are all number ones. So they are not like you got to go back going, oh man, I'm getting number 6 or number 7 or number 5, and I got to figure out what's going on in the story. You're starting from scratch.
Yeah, we did that on purpose. We knew that there were going to be people just buying the covers to buy the covers. So we hope that they will at least crack them open, give them a look, and get a feel for what the book is. So all of these are reprinting the first editions of these books. Penny for Your Soul #1, Ursa Minor #1, Legend of Oz #1, Scheherazade #1, Critter #1. They're all #1 issues. So you can grab them, collect the covers, or you can pop them open and get a feel for, what we do. That we did that on purpose. Nii is my unicorn. I love her to death, and she and I have always had an amazing relationship. She did Scheherazade for us, the entire book. This is her back here on Princesses versus Zombies behind me. She has an amazing talent, and I was like, I want you to do one of these Goth covers. And I was originally going to put her on Penny for Your Soul, but she didn't really want to do that. She'd done Penny stuff before. And I was like, okay, well, then let's put you on Ursa Minor. And she immediately just started vibing on it. She was like, oh, can I do? And she's very aware of the Goth scene. She was into the sort of the techno Goth thing many, many years ago. She used to go to the clubs and all that. So she was like, well, can I do this white Goth, this bubble Goth version for her? Because everything else was like blacks, reds, whatever. But there's a thing called bubble Goth, which is like the pinks and the whites. It's the same sort of designs, but it's a different color scheme. And I was like, yeah, as long as we know that it's her, and as long as we have some element of like the bear part of it, then that's the key. The design is less relevant than knowing who the character is. And she dove all the way in. It was great. So you've got the little bear belt buckle. She's got bear things in her hair. If you look at the cover, it's kind of this pose like this, where the hand is kind of coming at you, and the other hand's back here. This hand is like transforming into the bear. So it's really cool. And then of course she overlaid it with the constellation, the Ursa Minor constellation,
Yes.
over the top of it, which is a very unique idea. And I love it. And the cover itself looks amazing. I can't even imagine what the thing is going to look like in foil with all the white. It's just going to be popping right off the black background. So yeah, Nii is tremendous. Love everything she does, and she's also been a big part of Big Dog Ink since issue 1. She colored Eric Basildua's first Penny for Your Soul variant cover, so she has been with Big Dog Ink since the beginning. Technically the 1.5 beginning, because we started without her and we did variants later, but she was on Penny for Your Soul #1, and she has done a cover for every single issue of Oz to date, including the spin-offs. She's done some design work. She created Joan of Arc's steampunk wings. So Nii is unbelievable. I will always bow to the altar of Nii Rufino.
Oh, I agree. I absolutely with that. Yes. Now you've got a power team on just this one project here of doing these Goth covers and everything. And I think we've gone through and we've touched on every single one of them.
Yeah.
So again, we're going to say that in about 30 minutes, a little less than 30 minutes, actually, or a little over 30 minutes, we will be unveiling this on the website. Whenever it comes time for that, I do have the website ready to go ahead and hit on here. I could put it up right now. It won't do a thing until he clicks the button to go ahead and release it.
Yeah, I'm going to actually drop it in the room. So there's the link for you guys. If you click on it, there's nothing there.
Yes.
But you guys can have that link. You can have it on another browser ready to go. You can refresh it when we tell you it's ready. But right now there's nothing in it. You'll just see the empty room, the empty spot on the website. It is just our website. This is not a Kickstarter. This is not a crowdfunding. This is just, guys, we have books for offer. Come get them. Throw them in your shopping cart. You're good to go.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many great books that are going to be available with this that are only a one-shot deal, especially whenever you're dealing with the foils. You don't want to miss out on that. There have been so many times on the Doghouse, Tom will accidentally find something in a box and he'll be like, wow, I didn't even think we still had this up here. And everybody gets excited and they start yelling out claim, 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 claim. And then he goes, you do realize this is like 150, this is 175, whatever, because it is so rare. And we're all kind of sitting over there going, yeah, let me take that claim back a little bit on that one, please.
Yeah,
But I
it
mean,
happens. It happens.
it's worth it. Don't get me wrong; it is absolutely worth it. But if it's that rare and you don't get it, and that's the only way you can get it later on, it's going to have a price tag. So the value is there. So you definitely need to jump on and get what you want as soon as you can. Now, you don't have to do this right at midnight whenever this gets released and everything tonight, but you have 24 hours to go ahead and get the COA on there,
Correct. Correct.
and then also to go ahead and do the foil covers. So that's your 24-hour window for that alone. For the covers themselves, the regular covers, those are good throughout the weekend.
Well, as long as they last. I mean, there
As
are
long as
only
they last,
100,
yes.
but
Yes,
I'm not anticipating a sellout on day one. So they should be able to sprinkle out through the weekend.
exactly. So at least it's not one of those things where, straight out of the gate, like a Kickstarter would be, where you're like, I mine, 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 mine. Get what you need, for the time being, but keep in mind that there are not only these that are still available as long as the numbers are there, but like he said, and I wasn't aware of this till he just said this a little while ago, there are two more surprises coming up this weekend that I don't even know about yet.
That's correct. Nobody does.
I get a
I,
peek behind the curtain, but I only get a
I,
peek. I never get the full view.
I told you guys it was Goth weekend, and that's what it is.
And it is going to be a blast doing that. I know the covers alone are worth it. The books, they speak for themselves. I mean, if you haven't had a BDI book yet, I don't know what's wrong with you, for one thing. For another, you definitely need to jump on something. If you think that it's all about just the covers, like it is with some of the other places that are out there, the covers are great. They will get your attention. But if you open these things up, they have words and pages and more pictures and great stories. Dialogue is on point. I mean, I can't go on enough. I mean, I could do a full review of a couple of them, but we could be here for, another 2 or 3 hours on this. So I'm going to spare y'all on that one at least. But it's definitely worth it. So whenever you get them, you're not only getting something that looks pretty on the outside, but you're going to enjoy what's on the inside. And I'm going to warn you ahead of time, you're going to be hooked. Once you start on BDI, you don't leave.
And if you want, I mean, you can shop too. The link that's in there goes right to the Goth stuff, but it's within the store. So if you want to poke around and see what else we've got, if you want to get trade paperbacks and get the reading stuff to read the books, as opposed to buying the variant covers or whatever, do that too. However you want to shop, you can shop. There's no limitations. That link just happens to take you directly to the Goth category that we built today. So feel free to shop however you want to shop.
Yes. And if you have questions on what book should I go ahead and get to get started with, how should I start with this, what should I do with that, Tom is available. I mean, you can ask him questions and he always answers. Now, sometimes he's a little busy or he may actually sleep every once in a while and you won't get the answer immediately, but he always answers. So there are answers that are available if you have questions on that. So definitely look into what's in there. And like you said, the other shop that's available in there, definitely look through that, because I've been in there before and put things in my cart in the shop, gone back the next day and it says no longer available. So we're not playing around with some of these things.
Yeah, I mean, there are things in the store that we have 2 or 3 of. The store, unfortunately, is still not perfect because we have warehouses in Arizona. We have stuff that I bring out here with me as I travel around doing shows and stuff. So every now and then something will slip through the cracks and not get taken off. But usually we can probably get it back to you. Give us time and we'll find it somewhere. If not, we'll refund you, or we can, exchange it for something else. It's not a problem either.
Exactly.
So the web store is like 95% accurate, but we're getting better.
So Justin said on here, you can't wait to see you dressed up in your goth outfit for Saturday.
Well, you're looking at it already. It's the black shirt. We're done. It's over.
Rob Schiff is in here. Rob, thank you. Well, wait a minute. I'm going to take that thank you for being here back, because I'm going to show something here in just a moment. He said, oh my God, it says it's all sold out.
It's all sold out already? Oh, okay. Well,
except that he said, it says everyone can buy except for Phil. Rob. I see technical difficulties in your future. No, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. This is the kind of fun we have in the doghouse. This is the kind of fun that we have, in the BDI family with all this. So this is actually kind of tame, actually, for this show.
All right,
Oh,
Justin, we'll
Justin's.
see you. Justin's out of here.
Yep. Yeah. Thank you for being here, Justin. I very much appreciate it. Well, we are sitting at under a half hour until we go ahead and hit that button and get this thing live. So you've got World Goth Day that we're doing this. And I want to go ahead and bring up that so most everyone else has, they jump on the Star Wars Day bandwagon, they jump on the Easter, covers, stuff like that. So what I'm going to ask, and I already know the answer. I'm asking on behalf of everyone that's here as fans and all, and in the audience, and going to be watching this later on. Why World Goth Day?
Because it's different. And in a world, in an industry that is just all the same every year, everybody does Star Wars Day covers, everybody does St. Patrick's Day covers, everybody, it's just like, I mean, everybody now should know by now that after 10 years that I don't do things the way everybody else does them. That it doesn't vibe for me. So it made sense for me to start looking at how can we do things that the other people aren't doing. So we've got World Goth Day lined up. We have a couple of other days already lined up through July going into August. They won't be all as elaborate as this, like with 5 books and foils and all this kind of stuff. This Goth Day to me feels kind of special and sort of large scale. Whereas, there's other days like, I mean, if you look on the calendar, there's days for everything. There's Hot Dog Day, and there's, Go to the Beach Day, and there's, whatever. There's Talk Like a Pirate Day. There's a lot of nonsense out there. But there are some things that you look at and you go, I can take that and I can make something out of it. That's conceptually cool. And we're going to make something happen out of that. And Goth Day was one of them. We've got a number of them that are already in the works, again, with new artists too, that you guys don't even know who they are. So we're going to have some fun through the rest of the year. And some of it will overlap a little bit with some of the Kickstarter stuff this summer, and again, that's why it's not going to be overwhelming. It might be like, hey, we're just going to do this one thing for this one fun day, and here's the one thing. We never want to overwhelm the fan base. That's not our point. We just like to have fun with what we're doing, and I think that Goth Day proves that we know how to have fun. The fan base knows how to have fun. We'll take from this, we'll see how it works, and we'll move to, whatever's next and see how it works.
Now, first off, Rob had said on here, I'm going to go ahead and bring up, now that you've declared World Goth Day, who's going to take the over under on how many people try to imitate? Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and say, is it going to be next year or is it going to be 2 years? Because I'm taking next year that we're going to probably see some imitation on that.
I guarantee you'll see it next year. I guarantee it. And I could probably even lift off the 3 that I guarantee will do it. But it is what it is. This is like many things. It's a copycat industry. When one person does something and it's successful, others follow behind it. The trick is not to simply follow, but to add to it, make it your own somehow. So if you were to come in and say, well, we want to do Star Wars Day stuff. Okay, fine. But number one, you're going to be up against everybody else's Star Wars Day stuff. So how is your Star Wars Day thing going to be beyond that guy's thing or that guy's thing or that guy's thing? And so I won't say we'll never do a Star Wars Day cover or something along those lines again, but I feel that we've done a few of them, and I feel like that we've done it. We've been there. Let's move on. Let's make something else our thing. I would rather make Goth Day a regular annual thing. I would rather make, I don't really want to tell you the other things that we're doing because it's going to spoil the thing, but I would rather make X Day and Y Day and W Day big dog days. And if we do it first, then we know who's following. And I would always rather be first than following.
And that makes total sense in doing that. Now, I know I had put up here that Wendy had put on here. Rob Tom told me about the Fairy Day.
Yep.
That is amazing because anybody who doesn't know who Wendy Steenshiner is does an amazing series called Naughty Stripper Fairy Assassins. Sorry, the coffee's starting to wear off. Naughty Fairy Stripper Assassins. And if you haven't gotten into that book, you definitely need to. And I think she's up to number 4 is about to be coming available here fairly soon, if I'm not mistaken. But she's
Yeah,
got
that sounds right. And I was talking to her about Goth Day, and I was like, hey, by the way, coming up is Fairy Day, and you need to jump on it and make it your own. And there we go.
well, I mean, technically, she would have 4 days that I'm sure are national holidays in there because you've got Naughty, Fairy, Stripper, and Assassin Day. So you've got 4 different days that she could have some fun with that.
I don't know that there's an Assassin Day. Let's maybe over in Europe they have Guillotine Day or something, but over here, no, I don't know that Assassin Day is gonna fly.
Hey, it's just because we haven't marketed it the right way.
Maybe so.
But no, she's got some amazing stuff, and I know you don't mind me telling about hers, her setup on there because since we have just a little bit more time, I'm going to go ahead and talk a little about ClickCon because that's coming up in September, and I want to get everybody excited because we know just enough to get excited. I'm going to put it that way. I don't even know that much. All I know is that you are going to be working with Wendy and working with CB Zane and doing an online con very different than has been done before in any aspect on there, and that there will be new characters that are introduced on each of the 3 that are doing that.
Well, one new character is Catnip. The other 2 characters, and this is up to Wendy and CB, but the way that I understand it, the other 2 characters are just spin-offs from, I guess, Scorpiana or Into the Suck. I can't remember which one he told me.
Okay.
It's a character that has existed in another book, and they're going to do a one-shot story for them. Same with Wendy. It's one of the characters from Naughty Fairy Stripper Assassins that will get their own story.
Okay.
And then there will be Catnip, who will be, and even Catnip is technically a spinoff from Critter, but because it's going to be a parallel universe dimension story, it really will be its own standalone thing.
Okay. And that sounds great doing that. And I know that the online con, and again, I'm going to go ahead and give Wendy some props on this one because whenever she did her online con at the beginning of the year, before all of the current situation that's happening with all this is before it was even thought of that things were going on outside. She did the online con and was incredibly successful with that. I don't think I've ever been to another con where I've had as much fun as I did with her online con. Now, granted, it was 30 days instead of just going for a weekend, but it was a blast because you got to meet everybody in that. And I think that's where I kind of more fell into this circle of being with everybody because all you had to do is go around and start talking to people. It's just like walking around tables, except it's all virtual. And you can reach out to them and start talking to them. Hey, what's this art? What's that? What's this story in this book? And getting to know Wendy a little bit better with that. She did an amazing job with that. And I know that going into adding on to it in ClickCon, my brain is just kind of exploding here on trying to fathom what you could possibly be coming up with to one up on that. So I know
Well,
we're
yeah,
all excited.
we're going to take what Wendy did and we're going to modify it and see if there's ways to upgrade it, level it up. But she did a great job, and that's why we're even doing it. I mean, she and I went to dinner when she was out for a trip to Arizona. I was out at Jesse James. She came out, and I was like, "Well, let's go to dinner and just hang out." And it was cool. And she and I were sitting across the table. We were talking about things, and I was like, your con thing was really cool, and blah blah blah. And I just sat there for a minute. She probably thought I had a brain hemorrhage or something because I just stopped moving. And I was like, holy shit, Wendy, why aren't we doing this again and doing it with more people? This makes 100% sense to me. And so basically everybody else on that side of the table was gone. And she and I were like, okay, we did this and we did this. And what do we did this? Eat some food. Okay, what about this? And what about this? And by the time we were done with dinner, at Red Lobster, we had this basically nailed down. We knew that we were going to talk to CB about it. We knew some of the artists that we wanted to approach for covers. It has still evolved since then because CB and Wendy and I are in a group chat, and we just keep firing back and forth these ideas and thought processes and whatever. But we really have it streamlined now to where I really feel like we've got this nailed down to what it's going to be, how it's going to work. And now it's just a matter of building it, teasing it, and then releasing it into the world. And we're going to be doing that sometime. We don't have a date yet, but sometime in September is the goal, assuming that everything continues to fall the way that it needs to fall. Yeah, I think it's going to be great. I mean, she did a great job with this, with her con thing. And there's no reason we can't do it and elevate it and open the doors for a completely new way of doing Kickstarter.
And you can definitely see how that is that you're building up to that, because again, you're giving those little teasers of what you're talking, building up into it and all, but you're still at least giving enough information where, I'm sorry, but 3 new stories coming out of this. Yes, they may not be completely new characters like we just discussed and everything, but they're 3 new stories coming out of an online virtual con that I know is going to be incredibly huge, and everybody being involved and everything, because it's going to be just like going to a regular con, because we've missed one the entire year. So this is how we make up for it. I am definitely looking forward to this.
Wow, somebody gets it. Okay, good. Well, the con thing, the Corona thing, that it plays into our favor, but at the time that we were organizing this, that wasn't even a thing, it was happening. It was just like, whatever. We're just like, hey, how do we make a cool event? But the fact that, all the cons have shut down, and by the time we get to September, there's probably not going to be many still that are live. The online interaction bit has really changed for comics. And I think that if we do this right, and the thought process that we're bringing 3 fan bases that all have, they all have individual fan bases, but there is a little bit of overlap. It's like that Venn diagram of, 3 people coming together, and, I think that we have the opportunity to really do something unique and special, and I'm super excited about it.
Yes, and let me see. Well, Rob put this up here now. Now it says, "Sorry, all merchandise has been purchased by Smithers." Now we can't talk about Smithers without him being here.
We know he's got the fast internet, but I don't know if he can move that fast.
I don't know, that demon internet, and I'm not saying my name in that, but I mean the demon internet that he has is, I don't see many people that can beat that thing.
Yeah, you got to get that. I don't know what the hell they call it. There's some kind of super fast internet that you can get. I'm technically deficient in all of that stuff, but yeah, I know that there are some guys that have that good stuff, man. And if they come into the room to buy, good luck. Good luck. You better hope there's a few copies.
Yes.
Or that they don't want it.
Yeah. Now, I will say this, Smithers many times has won the claim, as he always does. And then he'll turn around, as long as you're cool about it. Don't go in there griping by any means. Anybody who starts, griping in the doghouse or in any claim sales, to be honest, you don't need to be that way. Just, be cool about it and say, I thought I was first, or I thought I had that. I apologize. I really wish I could have gotten that. I've tried the last, 3 or 4 shows. Smithers has given it up. He'll give it up in a heartbeat and say, look, hey, you were looking for this. Why don't you take it?
Well, and the other thing is you can speak up about it, because sometimes rooms move so fast with comments that we can miss it. So there have been times where I've scrolled back and I've said, oh yeah, he did make it before you, and then I've just moved the thing. So it's definitely worth saying, hey, I think I might have got that, because then I'll roll back and I'll see. But the trick is just don't be, this is what I tell people at cons all the time. Whenever I do panels about breaking in, whatever, bottom line is this: don't be a dick. And at that point, we can then say, oh, okay, let me roll back. Now, you know what? On my screen, which is the only one that counts, he beat you out, blah, 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 whatever. Or, yes, you're right. You scrolled off the screen before I could see it. You get it, you win it, I'll move it. Just be cool about it, and we can usually make it happen for you.
And the rest of the members that are in there, if they catch it and they're feeling
They
like,
will
okay,
often
you missed
speak up
something.
too. Yeah. I've had
Exactly.
that
They'll
happen
speak
where
up
it's
for
like,
anybody that's
hey,
in there as
Wendy didn't
long as
get a
you're not a
thing, and
dick.
I'm like, oh, okay, let me go back and find Wendy's call. Yeah, no, it's totally cool. Yep.
But it all boils down to don't be a dick. I mean, he's absolutely right about that.
Yes. That is basically in all things. That's basically whenever I do a panel about like breaking into comics or things like that. The final, everybody's like, so you have any final words for the audience on, that's such and such and such and such, and everybody's like giving these like, hey, you should do, and Tom, what do you think? Don't be a dick. And I get a laugh and it moves on, but it's a legitimate thing. The industry is so small that if you start to look like you're a jackass, people will just bypass you. You will lose opportunity, you will lose fan base. It just doesn't matter. None of it matters. Just have fun with your social media, and if anyone's being a dick, just unfriend them or even just unfollow them. You don't have to unfriend them, just unfollow them. That way they don't, clutter up your thread. Go join groups like architecture groups and travel groups and all this kind of stuff, because then your feed is going to be filled with just crazy cool stuff. I love design, so I get all these architecture pictures of housing designs and weird castles and stuff. And it's just like, I'm just scrolling through and it's like castle, goth girl, comic book girl, whatever. And then there's like this, oh, there's a Trump thing, there's a Hillary thing. So like, I don't care. Just, oh, cool. There's another house. How did they build that house? That's so weird. Like, just, you have the ability to change your social sphere. But we're so hung up on, well, I'm friends with this person. Well, that's fine. Just unfollow them so that they don't screw up your feed. Clean it out, and you'll have a much better time.
Now, Rob put up here, and I just had this up here, is that may be the first time I've ever heard Tom swear. Now, I will say this right now. The first time I heard Tom swear was whenever Penny versus Princess versus Zombies finished up. And because it was so nail biting at the very end to go ahead and finish out on the high end, when it finally finished, he let it out, and it was hilarious.
That night was nuts. I could not figure out what the hell was going on. That was an amazing night.
Well, you had been so roller coaster throughout the day. I mean, you had dropped off this amount, you had gained this amount, but you were still kind of flattening out, so you really weren't going anywhere. And then all of a sudden, it just went straight up at the very end and pushed you over the amount that you were trying to get to on there to finish it up, and that was phenomenal.
I don't remember the F-bomb. I won't say it didn't happen, but
yeah,
it probably happened.
Well, I mean, in your defense, you were pretty rushed up on your soda, and I think you had Twinkies or something like that too. So you may not remember.
True. Yeah. We crossed the 30,000 line. We had a Twinkie, cheers, whatever. Yeah. It was a crazy night. Well, what was really wild was we crossed over, and I thought we were done. Like, I thought like, oh, that was our last second thing. So I was all excited about it. I was like, hey, this was cool, great. And then all of a sudden money kept coming. And I was like, what is going on? I thought we were finished. But we had like another minute or something. So we piled on extra money at the end, and that was fun. Yeah, we were $1 short of 30K at one point. And then all of a sudden all these guys started throwing $1 in just because. Just to get us there. And then that's what I thought happened, because I was like, oh, now we're at 30,000 exactly, $30,001. And I was freaking out, and I was like, this is hysterical. And it was good. It was good. It was a good time.
It definitely was. But it was fun, and for everybody who was a part of it and everything, I definitely enjoyed being there with all of y'all, because the energy level was so freaking high. I mean, I was marketing like a fool over there, trying to push everywhere that I could to get the links out there, and kept putting them inside of the thing for anyone else who was showing up, and trying to get those last minute people to go ahead and say, okay, jump on here, because we were so close. And then whenever I got to where it was only $1 away, that was killing all of us. We were like, $1? Oh, this can't happen.
Yeah. I actually had another Kickstarter. It's funny because I had another Kickstarter that ended $1 over. It literally was like $31,001 or something. Very strange. It's very strange, those $1. Hey,
And
Sarah,
Sarah,
glad you got in on it. We're excited
yeah,
to get that book out to you. I think people are going to really dig it. It's a crazy, batshit, ridiculous, nonsense book. So I hope everybody enjoys it as much as we are enjoying making it, because it's out there. It's just, it's like, okay, we're going to write over here. We're taking it outside the box, and we're just going to run around and have a good time.
now I back this. This doesn't have the meaning of life because I thought it had the meaning of life in there by reading it.
No, sorry, we cut that part out. Edits. We decided to edit that part out. We
Must have
decided
been
to go with more boobs than life lessons.
I was fixing to say that was Steph's fault. Hey, we can give him crap because he gives enough of it to everyone else, so it's all good. Here we go. Rob, you're right on track with this. 10 minutes and it's time to sell Big Dog out of inventory. That is true.
Yeah, this will be interesting. You know, we haven't really done anything like this before, where we've had this lead up time to an online sales event. We really just haven't done it. And again, it's one of these things where it's just the evolution of what Big Dog is doing. It's the evolution of the industry in general. This is certainly not new. Other companies have done this type of thing, but for Big Dog, we've never done it before. So it will be very interesting to see the results. I mean, I'm not worried about it. This isn't a situation where it's like, you know, I think it's going to tank. I mean, we definitely have some fire behind it. And I think people like what it is, and hopefully we'll get some people buying that, again, maybe haven't bought these. There was actually somebody on the post somewhere, I think it was on Steph's post, who was like, hey, I've never even bought these books before. I don't know what they are. You know, is there more of them, whatever? And we were like, yeah, man, go to the website. There's trades, there's single issues. Like, we can hook you up and make sure you can read this stuff in addition to just buying your variant covers too. So there's definitely interest in what's going on. And again, that comes back to being something different. This goth thing definitely clicks with people in a way that I didn't know if it would or not. But people are having fun with it. People like the catnip design, and they're excited about the new character. And you know, I've done what I can do, and the rest is up to you guys. You determine if this is a failure or a success, and then we move on to what we're doing next.
Agreed. And Rob put up here, they have, but Tom, you're finding new ways to make things work in this new norm. I could not agree more.
Well, you have to. I mean, if you're just sitting around waiting for things to go back, or if you're waiting for everybody else to figure it out so that you can follow, again, you're following again. You can't be following. You have to do everything you can to make whatever it is that you're doing stay ahead of the wave. And that's very hard to do. It's not something you can just wake up in the morning and be like, aha. You know, you have to be kind of continuously conscious of what's happening, how it's happening, why it's happening, and how you can take that wave and just stay ahead of it. Whether it's writing, whether it's art, whether it's communication, marketing, whatever, design. I mean, God, I can't tell you guys enough. Design matters. Artists, design matters. Creators of all comics, design matters. Slow down. Watch your designs. Elevate. Make them unique. Make them interesting. Because that's the first thing people see. They don't see what you wrote. They see what got drawn. And if it's not interesting, they're going to walk past you, or they're going to scroll past you in the new normal.
Exactly. All right, we are 5 minutes away from going ahead and launching this bad boy. Now, I will say, I am very honored to have Tom on here tonight to go ahead and do this hype program to go ahead and lead up into World Goth Day. Tom actually approached me on this the last time I had him on my show, that we did the interview with the recap on how Princesses versus Zombies was doing. And in the green room after we were done, it's whenever he brought it up and he said, hey, why don't we do this? And honestly, I was trying, and I told him, I said, I am desperately trying to only have 3 shows a week. But you know what? I can't say no, because this is part of my extra family that I've got. I mean, everyone that's in here is part of my family with BDI on this. So as far as I'm concerned, it was asking a family member do something with this. That's why I wanted to go ahead and help out. So it is definitely my honor to be here, and I hope you have enjoyed having me on here for the whole full 2 hours and having Tom on here and us talking about all this, because now we're within 4 minutes of going ahead and launching this and seeing who all can jump on here and get all the pretty goods that they get and start the bragging rights.
Well, yeah, and again, nothing is going to be selling out in these early morning hours. So I appreciate everybody that's hanging out and chilling with us. But you will have the day. So anybody who's watching this later, you will have the day. Don't worry, nothing is going to be gone in that first hour. But like I said, don't miss the day. That's the key. Don't miss the day, because if you miss the day, then you're going to have an issue. Then you're going to be scrambling. Oh, how do I get that foil? Oh my God, I didn't get the trading card, whatever. And that's where you're going to have problems. And we don't want you to have problems. We want this to be easy. We want this to be fun. And so on and so on and so on.
And it is definitely fun. Just don't miss your opportunity. Like you said, you got 24 hours once it goes ahead and launches on this to go ahead and jump on the 24-hour period with getting the extra goods that you can possibly get off of here. And then Saturday's going to have something for 24 hours. Sunday's going to have something for 24 hours.
Yeah, tomorrow, I don't know, later in the day tomorrow, we will announce what Saturday is going to be for those items. And then on Saturday in the evening-ish, we will announce what we're going to do on Sunday. Yeah.
So it's definitely going to be fun in going through the World Goth weekend celebration with BDI. So you do not want to miss any of this. And as I've always said on all of my shows, and this is no different, use the power of that finger. Just make sure you use the right one. Hit that share button and get this shared out to everybody. If you can support this in any way, support it by sharing, because
Sure.
there is no argument against sharing. I mean, everybody can do that. It's not a problem with that, unless you're in Facebook
Absolutely.
jail. And then I'm talking to a wall right now. All right, 2 minutes, and it looks like Rob is chomping at the bit because he said, "Guys, I love y'all, but I got to go buy some big dog goodies."
He's hyper focused, man. He's been talking to me all day. He told me he took a nap so that he could be up, for this show and for midnight. And that's like I said, you don't need to be here at midnight, but we appreciate everybody that's been hanging out for 2 hours, chewing the fat with us, who wants to get those orders in and just make it so that, hey, I'm in, I'm done, I'm finished. Let me get to Saturday and tell me what's coming. Also, just to reiterate, these are pre-orders. Of course, obviously, we can't make these books until we know how many people are buying them.
Right.
The basics are limited to 100, so that's that. But all of the foils and the other stuff are all printed to order. So we have to get those order numbers in and then figure out, okay, we need so many cards, we need so many foils, whatever. So it'll take about a week to 10 days to get all of this done and out to you. But all the files are done. So all we have to do is on Monday, tell the printer 50 of these, 20 of those, 80 of those, and we're rolling. So, bear with us on the shipping part, especially since post office sucks right now. But we will get them out to you within about a week to 10 days.
Perfect.
Hey, Lady December has shown up.
Hey, Miss December, welcome to the show. All right, we are less than a minute. It's fixing to pop.
So we can pop the link in here too.
Are you able to see who the first one to go ahead and jump in there and purchase is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I can.
All right. So before you hit that button right now, let me go ahead and say, because we're right at midnight, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this out there. I got a giveaway book. I've got something over here. I will choose something really good. Actually, I'll make it 2 books because it's a good time that we've had tonight. 2 books. As soon as he pops that link and makes it available, which is going to be within like 20 seconds, first person who gets it from me. You need to go ahead and message me whenever I get your name, and I will send it out to you.
The first person is Wendy Shaner.
Wow. She already got that in?
Yep.
Wendy, congratulations. You are going to get yourself a package from Comics and More, New Jersey. I've got a couple of books down here. I'll actually pick through and find you a couple of good ones because I've had some that have been donated to the show. So I'll be getting those to you.
Yeah, we have Wendy Shaner, we have Sarah Carter, We have Scott Kreutzer, and then Wendy came back in for one more book.
Nice.
So yes, we already have a busy evening. So you guys are all getting your books, of course. You are all also going to get a COA, certificate of awesome, because y'all are awesome. And that will be, again, that is for, if you guys are watching this back later, that is for the entire 24 hours, midnight to midnight. Anybody who's buying a book will get the COA as well. And then we shut off the cards for the rest of the weekend.
Very nice. Now, did Rob end up buying his, or was he in there somewhere?
Let me refresh here and see what it says. Yeah. Yeah, Wendy was like, pop.
Okay.
Done. Yes. Oh, wow. We got a bunch already. So we had Justin Hunt has grabbed his. Dave Fernandez has grabbed his. Rob Schiff has grabbed his. So, yeah, we are. Yeah. Rob's in. He's done. Poof.
Nice.
He's made. Now he can go to sleep.
Very nice.
Oh, man.
And so it begins.
Second was Sarah Carter. Scott, you were third. Oh man, yeah, this is fun, and they're buying a lot of stuff too. So it's they're not just grabbing one book. Most people are buying multiple things.
Very
and
nice.
Yeah, it's been good. I've got messages on Facebook now. People are bumping me, like, dude, I'm like, hey man.
And Rob said Tom is now a wealthy man. Well, he's got to be able to pay for Red Lobster. Come on.
I can definitely pay for Red Lobster. Yes, we can definitely do Red Lobster. Although we can't go to Red Lobster because they're all closed. You know, but when it reopens, yes, we will do a Red Lobster. Maybe we'll do a live. We got another couple of orders that pop in. 3 orders that popped in. We'll do a little live, a live chat. Maybe we'll try and get Wendy out here on the East Coast when we launch ClickCon, and we'll do a little live from Red Lobster with myself and CB and Wendy.
Very nice.
See if we can get a little Red Lobster sponsorship.
Oh, that would be great. As much as we talked about them on BDI with all the stuff and everything, it should be a normal thing with that.
I agree. Yes. Everywhere we go, we do Red Lobster. Karen Lawler has joined us with a couple of books. Excellent. Both of the Scheherazads. We have Catnip. Oh, that's just one of each. Kaboom. That is both of the Ursa Minors. This is a one of each. This is both of the Justin Hunts. So yeah, so it's a big mix. I mean, there's nothing that's like dominating anything else, which is interesting. You never really know what people are going to vibe on.
Right.
We all know people were really digging on the Ursa Minor, Nia Rufino. I mean, she is the name that we have on all of these. Everyone else, of course, has their fan bases and are great artists. But you know, we all know that that Nia has that little extra level. Tim Cheek has jumped in, so you know, you kind of look at it like, well, geez, is everybody just going to like scoop up the Ursas and they're going to be gone, or is it going to go across the board? And right now, it's pretty fair across the board, which is great.
Well, I mean, it's a ton of talent that's on there. It's difficult to try to figure out what you want to get, but like
I mean,
said
that's
before,
honestly my goal. I'm supposed to make it difficult.
Yeah.
Like it has to be, like it all should be great. Like it shouldn't be like one great and like 4, you know, it should all be like, and then I got to make your life a little bit difficult in at least as far as making choices. Because then I did my job. That means that I put the right people in the right place and you know, and so on and so on.
That is very true. And yes, Rob, I kind of figured that an Ursa was going to be in your future because that is your favorite one out of the group. And I'm not saying just as far as artist. I mean, everyone that knows the group and everything knows that Rob is all about Ursa Minor.
Yes. That is Rob's go-to, which is fine. Everybody's got a go-to. It's fine. Mr. Kiesel's in there. Lady December's in there. So it is popping. It is popping. Good stuff.
And apparently Smithers just got in here. He's in the
30
audience
seconds
now.
ago.
Yeah.
30 seconds ago. Smithers,
Welcome to the chat,
been?
Mr. Smithers.
Where have you been? So yeah, this has been great, guys. The midnight response has been great. We appreciate it. Ursa, we already have some Ursa stuff happening for later in the year, so you'll be happy about that, Rob. Ursa will be our October book right after ClickCon. Actually, it might overlap just a little bit depending on when we launch in September. Maybe we'll try and avoid that overlap, keeping that in mind. But yeah, Ursa Minor is later this year, and then as we go into 2021, it's big time Oz and Mary Magdalene's Seven Demons, the next Penny book, and then whatever else we decide we're going to sprinkle in next year, including, I'm sure, Return of Goth Day 2021.
Definitely looking forward to that, and I hope everyone's had a great time and enjoyed their time in here. I know we've kept most everybody stayed in here the whole time, and thank you for doing so, because we've been talking and bringing up a lot of information not only on the World Goth Day, but other projects the BDI's got coming up. But I want to go ahead and say thank you very much, Tom, for being on here. I have had a blast having you on here yet again as my guest. And anytime you want to go ahead and come on back, let me know. We will schedule it in. That is for certain.
Yeah, I appreciate you doing it, man. It's fun to do. I'm sure I am now officially your most returned guest.
Yes, you are.
All right, so we're going to maintain that. If anyone ever gets close, you just tell me. We'll do another show. We'll talk about anything. Otherwise, we can talk. We can talk once we get our summer Kickstarter stuff lined up, and we can tell everybody what's going on with that. But yeah, no, this is always fun, and I appreciate the support from you and from everybody who's watching and buying stuff tonight. We are going. Oh, I forgot about this. We are actually going to do live show tomorrow. Myself on my page. I will be live with Justin Hunt, Steph Wilson, and Nihai Rufino tomorrow. So watch for that. I think we're going to be starting around 5 o'clock East Coast time. So we're going to have 3 back-to-back hours of art, goth, and BDI talk on my personal page.
Very nice. Well, that sounds great. And the last thing I just want to leave on here real quick is tomorrow night at, I believe it's 10 o'clock is whenever I've got her scheduled. I actually have Jen Broomall will be my guest tomorrow night. So I'll be interviewing her and having her on the show. So mark your calendars on that one as well. If you cannot be here live for whatever reason, definitely go ahead and look at it to watch later on. But Tom, thank you again for being here. If you want to give one last audible shout out on where we can find you, and then we're good to go with this.
Yeah, find me on Facebook. You guys can friend me up, or you can go to the Big Dog page, Big Dog Inc. Join the page. We post stuff there all the time. Join Patreon, patreon.com/Big Dog Inc. Join the group that's there. Get all the backstage access stuff. Twitter and Instagram are both BDI Comics. So hit those up, and you can follow us on those as well.
Excellent. Again, thank you very much. Have greatly enjoyed having you here on the show, and looking forward to the next time, Tom.
Thank you, man.
All right. So we had Tom on here, and even though this was a hype session that we were doing for the World Goth Day, which we had a blast with doing, I really did as well. I always have a closing statement, and this is not going to be any different. So the closing statement on this one, again, I never script these things. I never write anything down. I just go along with what we've got on here. Now, Tom had kind of brought up that don't step into the normal. What that means basically is go ahead and stray out there a little bit. Try something different. See what new you can come up with. Why go ahead and follow the pack when you can lead it? There's a lot of things going on nowadays with current situations and everything, and there's a lot of changes that are being made. So whenever the smoke clears and everything opens completely up and we're ready to go into whatever new normal we're going into, are you going to be a leader? You're going to be a follower? Something you might want to look into on that, but everyone has that decision that they can make right now and follow through with it. So that being said, this is Demon Phil Comics and More, New Jersey. Coffee's starting to wear off, and you can definitely tell. Keep it indie, y'all.